Hello, it is Topical Tuesday, August 11th, 2020. Steve Sipress here. And if you're one of the small business owners, one of about 5 million small business owners who took advantage of the Paycheck Protection Program and took out a PPP loan, the good news is the Small Business Administration has opened up the forgiveness website, portal, whatever they call it, where loan applicants can begin to apply and follow all the rules to get those loans forgiven so that they're not actually loans, they turn into grants. That's the good news. Now, here's the not so good news, is that our ever bumbling and mismanaged and screw up federal government, no exception with the PPP program, they put out rules for the forgiveness in like May. They changed them like a month later. They changed them again like a week ago. And so all the banks that help put through all these loans to the SBA, which you likely went through one of these big banks, somebody to do the loan, they're not in a rush to put together the whole process and all of the infrastructure and the technology to facilitate this loan forgiveness program. Similar to the whole fiasco about even applying. Depending on where you went to apply, I looked in several different places before I put in my application. Some were, and I talked to people. I have a client who brilliantly, as soon as the PPP Logan and the EIDL programs were introduced, he started a new business and partnered up with some finance experts, and he offered, and he did, facilitate the entire loan process for business owners for a small, tiny percentage of the loan funds, which save tons of time and trouble and getting rejected. And I didn't qualify because my business is way too small to qualify at the level that would make it worthwhile for them to get involved in the whole thing. But I could see all the time and ridiculous trouble I went through responding and then uploading a new form and then this and that and whatever, and going through that whole process. Well, obviously the banks want to avoid that with a forgiveness. And there's talk in the Congress, the ever-do-nothing Congress, led for the 20th straight year, 20 straight years now, of a president who is incompetently unable to get Congress to do anything. Clinton was the last one that was able to work with Congress, was a skilled politician, and got the two sides to play along and got things done. Bush, Obama, Trump, 20 years of total disaster. Congress remains completely deadlocked on everything and do nothing. Even when they totally agree on stuff, they do nothing. And so this is no exception. They talk about passing, the most important thing they talk about passing will be automatic forgiveness for PPP loans of $150,000 or less, which I think I read something recently that's about, it's well over 90% of the loans. I think it might even be 99 or 95% of the loans are $150,000 or less. So, of course, all the banks are waiting until Congress is going to act or not act, or maybe, you know, Mr. I got a pen and a phone part 2, Trump, after Obama pulled that stuff, Mr. Executive order himself here, Trump might write an executive order to do it. Who knows? But it's all up in the air, and that means the banks, you wouldn't either in your business. Things are up in the air like that, and you're dealing with an ever-changing, ever-buffoonery, incompetent, inept government. You wouldn't put in all the time and money and energy into building infrastructure. That can have to be changed like that, especially, as I said, if they do that automatic forgiveness for the small loans, small, about 90-something% of them, well, then, of course, that affects the bank's processing of the whole thing and will save everyone a lot of trouble, which, of course, is the best reason for doing it. Save a ton of time and money and effort of everyone so that businesses can be more productive and banks can do what they do and the government, unfortunately, can do what it does, go screw up something else, instead of deal with all these applications to forgive these tiny loans of $150,000 or less. So you're going to have to wait. Banks are anywhere from a couple of weeks out, month out, sometime in September. Who knows if Congress will do anything back then. I think Pelosi said, what are you talking about? Work? What are you talking about? We're going to keep cashing our paychecks, or we ain't coming back to work for another few weeks or until September sometime. So going to be a while till Congress acts or doesn't act or does something. I think that's going to affect when the banks are going to open up all the technology it takes, because they're going to get flooded. 5 million loans, PPP loans. I would think there's going to be an equal number. Every single person that took one is going to put in for the forgiveness, just about. I mean, but small ones automatically. And there's all kinds of, problems with the whole thing to begin with, all the qualifications about what if you tried to hire back all your workers, but they didn't want to come back because, of course, Congress idiotically is paying them more money to stay at home than to come back and work and serve their community and get the businesses running again and all that kind of crap. So it's all a whole big load of whatever. But if you hear in the news that the SBA opened its portal to apply for forgiveness of the PPP loans, don't be fooled. Just typical government fumbling and bumbling. Almost undoubtedly you can't do anything yet. But the really good news is you might not ever have to do anything, and automatically those loans should just become grants, because they just should. Anyway, that's my 2 cents here on Topical Tuesday, and I'll catch you back here again tomorrow on World Wide Web Wednesday. Catch you then. Over and out. Bye-bye.